nonsense. We're rocking episode 4, three-man crew here. It's me, it's Eric, and Kayla.
Hello.
And Mike.
Hey there.
Like I said, we're a three-man crew today, and what we are doing is another B-side episode, episode 4. We're going to touch on some things that we also touched on in episode 2, like the little things and the medium. But first, we're going to go around and tell everyone what we are currently playing, watching, and enjoying. Start us off, Mike. What are you doing?
Played a bunch of Cyber Shadow recently. It's like it's on Game Pass. It's published by Yacht Club Games. They did like Shovel Knight a few years back. And this game is kind of similar to Shovel Knight. It's like a throwback 8-bit, 16-bit, somewhere in between type stylish action game, similar to like a Ninja Gaiden, a Mega Man, and you're just a ninja and you're going through level to level. You're getting upgrades. A lot of fun, challenging platform sections and stuff. It's got a fun difficulty ramp. It starts off and you're thinking, this is a cakewalk kind of thing, and then every level gets more challenging.
I like an early cakewalk. I'm into that. How about you, Kayla?
We are playing Halo because we got the Xbox and we use Game Pass. We started at the beginning. So we started Halo 1, finished that last weekend, and we started Halo 2 yesterday. So, of course, I'm really excited for the co-op, couch op specifically, ability. Just makes it more fun for me.
Yeah, I've been really surprised with how kind of non-linear, like at least the first one was. Like, the kind of larger battle areas and stuff. Where you weren't it's not just a hallway. I was imagining, it's just going to be Call of Duty in space kind of situation, but a lot of kind of open areas, car combat with the like warthogs and stuff like that. Actually, several different styles of vehicles that you can kind of
steal. The AI is very good with the other members of your team that are there. They will drive you around so you can shoot and or shoot for you while you're doing other stuff. So that's helpful.
Yeah, we're playing the Master Chief.
The enemy guy is pretty good in that too, right?
Yeah, they hide. Like the enemies hide. Yeah. They swarm you. They will, like, you can't really hide from them. It's real fast. It's a fast kind of shooter.
I'm really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I wonder how. What's up?
Favorite weapon so far?
I like all of the so you get to you usually start off a mission with like the human weapons, the marine weapons that are just pretty standard, and I tend to like those as opposed to you can pick up all of the alien weapons. What did you think, Kayla?
Yeah, like the needler and stuff like that.
Yeah, once we learned a little bit more about like the needler specifically, I didn't like it at first, but then I figured out how it blows up after you put those needles in them. And then now, since we started Halo 2, we've got to use that sword. I don't know what it's called, but like handheld.
I think it's just called the energy sword.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. That does sound familiar. That's been a lot of fun, but you got to get up on them, so be dangerous.
And we also finished the medium. We'll go in do a wrap up on that a little further into the podcast.
What you been watching, Eric?
Episode 5 of WandaVision. I think we're all caught up, right, Nelson? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So kind of it's just ramping up. I mean, with the show from episode 4, like 3, 4, 5 just continue to ramp up, and I'm really liking where that's going. I don't know how they can continue. Oh, and that's right, The Boys. We just started The Boys. We watched the full first season of that, and that is a cool show. Cool. So we're a little late to the party on that one, but wow.
I enjoyed the first season of that a lot. Yeah, cool. And I'm enjoying WandaVision as well. I'm the opposite of you, Eric. I wish that it kind of kept that pace of the first 2 episodes, more giving you little drips of what's really going on, but I'm still enjoying it. I'm a Marvel fan as far as the MCU goes, and I'm along for the ride. Yeah, let it take me there.
Yeah, they're getting weird, and it's fun. It's fun. You're right though. It ramped up kind of just 0 to 60 on the last couple episodes. It was a lot slower, a lot more mysterious, I guess you could say, the first couple, and then like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Let's move on to the news section. There was actually a ton of news that has dropped in the last week, and let's get to it. So they released the sales figures for the PlayStation 5 and kind of an estimate of the sales figures on the Xbox Series, the most recent current gen consoles. They have it pegged just at the end of last year for 4.5 million on the PlayStation 5 and about 3.5 million on the Series X and S from Microsoft. And pretty insane, especially considering the fact that like they're just not available. I mean, they're just they've all gone to scalpers and everything else, like, just, but pretty insane sales figures.
You gotta imagine if they were able to make 10 million of each, they would have sold out probably all of those as well, you think, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the demand really seems like it. Everything I've seen on Twitter, on everything. I mean, if you just look at when they do restocks on GameStop or Walmart or anything else, it's just like that. And they've said that they're using bots and things like that to prevent scalpers after the initial wave of it, but whether it's working or not, I mean, they're just not. They're just going like that. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, I keep telling myself, I guess just thinking like the first time I see one of those in the wild, just at a store, like I'd have to swipe it off. Like I don't know, like what if you feel like it's like a 1 in a million type chance right now, you know?
Yeah, it really feels like it. It's one interesting thing I read in January, that in the UK at least, that the Xbox for the first time ever outsold the PlayStation. So that was pretty interesting. They're trying real hard. Game Pass is kind of the best value in gaming right now, and it'll be interesting to see if there will be some parity in terms of the sales.
I get where I'm gaming right now is Switch and my Xbox One. So Sony's got some ground to move in as far as to switch me back over at the moment. Yeah.
I mean, with all the sales and all the scarcity, there's not much in terms of games, surprisingly. It's kind of wild, kind of a wild situation.
Mike, do you have any trouble with your Switch controllers, like with the drift?
Oh yeah, my I think the Joy-Cons are the worst controllers they've ever made.
Today I saw something say that the DualSense is also being investigated for that.
Yeah, that made me think like, oh man, like I don't want to get one until that's straightened out, because
exactly
the Switch drift is really bad. Like I've even ordered parts and replaced parts, and it still is an issue for me. So
yeah, it seems. I mean, like, it's always tough being an early adopter on consoles or any kind of technology, but it does seem like this console generation maybe is having a little bit more in terms of technical difficulties with, DualSense drift, and there's been a lot of talk about various bugs and crashes and stuff on the PS5 and the Xbox. Seems like probably with the pandemic and everything, things were kind of rushed a little bit.
I mean, can anything compete with the Ring of Death, though?
It's true.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well, Kayla. Like, that's probably the worst thing. Like, people wrapping their Xboxes in towels just to play their games. But this is tough. Yeah, it seems like these consoles could have had a more time in the oven. Just like, I think right now that one of the biggest problems is just getting external hard drives like hooked up to them, and especially with the PS5, like they're crashing, like just having extra storage put in and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's got to be just heartbreaking when you spend that much money, and like you said, you just feel like you hit the lottery by even getting one of these things, and something like that goes down. It's got to be disheartening.
Nice segue to bring up CD Projekt Red.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, speaking of tough launches.
Yeah.
Woof.
What do you want to say about CD Projekt Red there?
Well, they had that big, huge hack recently too. Now, like to add on to everything that they went through, right?
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, I don't know how much we've touched on the podcast about their launch. It's rough, lots of bugs. The last gen versions look awful. It just wasn't the game people were expecting in a lot of ways. They had problems offering refunds that they couldn't back up. They wanted Sony and Microsoft to cover refunds, and then most recently they just got a ransomware attack where hackers apparently stole source code for not only Cyberpunk but also for Witcher 3, and requested a bunch of money.
Do whatever you want with Cyberpunk. Keep your hands off of Witcher.
Do you think they're going to be able to, a year from now, recover, Mike?
Oh, I think so. I think once they get this, the the current gen version of this game up and running, and if it matches what PC players are playing, and they get a piece of DLC out, and the game runs relatively well, I think they'll be fine. They'll announce some kind of Witcher project, and then our people's minds will be taken off of this.
Just put Gwent inside.
This game has been like in the headlines forever now, and it just won't leave. It just
won't leave
now, and it's still just more and more shit is thrown on the pile here with this game. I don't know. I like Witcher 3 a lot, and I haven't played Cyberpunk. To be upfront, but I wish people would just leave them alone, honestly, and just let them work on the game and let this all be behind us.
Yeah, I can't think of just failed launches are one thing. I mean, games come out buggy, whatever. Witcher 3 kind of had a tough launch and then became super successful, but everything that could go wrong. I mean, every little, the bad PR, the bad a hack, it's just like
it didn't work. It doesn't work.
How could all of that happen at the same time? It's weird. It's kind of a weird overall situation.
Yeah, I mean, you saw what happened with No Man's Sky a few years ago, how awful that launch was, and promises that were made that weren't kept to the players, and now that game is a total redemption story. Like, they've turned it around. So I think a studio like CD Projekt Red will be able to do that.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it's all, not for nothing. I mean, just all the crunch and all of that. I hope that they can figure it out, because a lot of people worked really hard on it. A lot of people were really excited to play it and everything else, and I'm sure it was immensely disappointing. Sure. I was excited, and then I just didn't buy it because I heard it was complete garbage, unless you have a high-end PC. So
yeah, if you're trying to play it on a PS4 or Xbox One base model, it seems like it's unplayable, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, off of that and on to some more MCU news, rumors. Kind of an interesting situation. Spider-Man 3. Tom Holland was recently interviewed, and he's thrown some cold water on all of those rumors of Tobey and the other Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield and whatnot. What's going on there? Is it just crap? Is he just trying to lie?
I think the cat's out of the bag with this movie as far as like the direction they're going, and even like with castings and everything and multiverses, and I think this is him trying to just reverse our takes on it and try to.
And on one hand, though, it wouldn't totally surprise me if they did keep that information from him. He is kind of the king of letting stuff.
Oh yeah,
flip.
Yeah, that's a good.
He's got loose lips. So
yeah, him and Ruffalo are the notorious leakers,
right?
I believe in that cast. Yeah.
So, and if you are doing multiple universes and things are happening possibly in other universes, then you don't necessarily need him there to shoot it. Tom Holland, that is.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I think he knows. I think he knows everything about it. I mean,
think
that
it's
movie
just
is slated for 11 months from now, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
soon.
So
I'm
that's just
excited. I'm real excited. When we left Spider-Man 2, that was when Mysterio like put him on blast. Everybody knows. So I want to see what happens.
Yeah, that was such a fun ending.
Mm-hmm.
Such a weird thing for him to even come out and say anything. Like, I mean, you could
People
just
ask constantly.
Yeah, but you don't have to answer. You know, you don't have to say anything, and it's just so weird to even say like, "Oh, I don't. Who's Tobey Maguire? Who's Andrew Garfield? What are you talking about? Never met those guys."
Yeah,
weird situation. Sticking with the MCU and other things, we just had the Superb Owl just happened. So there was a lot of, or the big game, I think, is what you're supposed to call it. We cannot use the actual term. And Nelson, congratulations, your buddy, the Tampa Brady's won.
baby.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I saw you
celebration they had today. It was
yeah, I'm surprised you didn't fly down there. That's weird. But this isn't a sportscast podcast. This is a talking about the trailers podcast. One of them was
the real important stuff.
Yeah, one of them was Falcon and Winter Soldier. In the MCU, but we had quite a few. You had the Old movie. That's M. Night Shyamalan. Clarice, a series based on Silence of the Lambs. There was Raya and the Last Dragon from Disney. Nobody, an interesting Bob Odenkirk action thriller kind of thing.
Yeah.
F9, obviously, the biggest movie of whenever summer that comes out. What did you guys think overall of the trailers? Anything really stand out to you? Anything that made you more excited?
I'm on board with Old. I wanna see that. That's a cool concept. It's just like a quick 30-minute or 30-second trailer, and it seems like it's a family or a group of families on an island, like a vacation thing, and next thing you know, their 6-year-old son becomes like an 18-year-old man, and like their daughter like ages rapidly and becomes pregnant or something. Just like a weird M. Night adventure that I think it's a terrible move that it's only in theaters. It seems like that's a perfect movie to release on a Friday on some streaming service and own the weekend discourse and get a lot of buzz. But what did you guys think of it?
I want to watch it. M. Night Shyamalan, he's got some weird movies. Some I've been for, some I have been not.
Yeah, he's hit or miss for sure.
Yeah, he's like totally black, like it's opposite sides. I either like it, love it, or hate it, absolutely hate it. So.
Sure.
Yeah, I think the only one that I didn't really dig was Lady in the Water, I would say. That one didn't do it for me. I don't really remember much about that one, but I've been pretty down for just about anything that M. Night does. Even like people pan like The Happening. I don't know. I liked it. I think I saw it in theaters. So I think Old, if it's just that kind of take a weird concept and do some cool visual stuff. Like I think he's probably gonna have a nice budget and stuff. Yeah, I'm here for it.
Can you remind me what Nobody was?
Nobody was. Bob Odenkirk seems to be like a John Wick-esque character.
Okay.
It seems to be. It kind of reminded me of Shoot 'Em Up. If you guys have ever seen that one with Clive Owen, kind of like a guy you wouldn't expect to be a killer, a secret agent, or he seems to be some kind of mercenary, secret agent, contract killer, whatever. A John Wick. He's an auditor. Oh, is that what his thing was in the thing?
That's what they call him. Like that's his cool
name.
little nickname in weird. Yeah.
See, they already did The Accountant with Ben Affleck, so come on, it's been done.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. I mean, it's Bob Odenkirk, but as a badass apparently. So kind of a weird, because he's normally just like a comedic guy, or if you're talking about Better Call Saul, he's just a smarmy kind of guy. You don't usually see him as the leading man in an action role, but an interesting concept.
I think this is ridiculous. I had no idea what what that was, looking at the script for the episode before this. So I watched it on YouTube, and I thought it was like a fake movie in like a Robert Rodriguez film or something, like a fake movie trailer in one of his films or something. If you would have told me in 1995 that the star of Mr. Show with Bob and Dave was going to be in a big time action movie, no. This could have been a skit on Mr. Show. I no thanks.
It seems like maybe Nick Cage was busy for the first time ever. Like
there's even that's funny because there's a part in the trailer where his daughter needs like a kitty keychain or something like that, and one of the put down the keychain or give me the keychain. There's like a callback to Con Air or something.
You're right. Yeah, I didn't put that together.
It's definitely wearing its influences on its sleeve. That nobody.
How about Falcon and the Winter Soldier? That blow up your skirt at all? Either of you?
Oh, those are the two like my two least favorite characters in the MCU. And seeing like just a Bad Boys series with those two is not where I want the MCU to go, or something I want, something like you just say the title WandaVision, and I'm so like, yeah, I want to see that. I want to know more about those characters. I want to know what's going on. These two, I'm in the complete opposite. I'd rather them be in the rear view.
What you can?
I'm definitely going to watch it. I guess we'll see how. I mean, we call him Falcon now, but he is taking over the role as Captain America, at least with his shield, and we'll see what that means.
Well, the trailer kind of gives you a who's gonna have the shield when it's all said and done kind of thing.
I don't
cool.
think Bucky is choice.
Yeah, like a little bit of a rivalry,
jealousy.
Yeah, I hope they go hard into the like Captain America and the Winter Soldier, like espionage kind of, world traveling, that kind of thing. I really like that movie and kind of that tone of that movie. So with those two characters, they kind of fit really well into. I think that was maybe even the movie that Falcon first showed up, maybe. So
you're right.
Yeah, so I feel like that's the way to go. It is a little weird, like juxtaposition with WandaVision being kind of real weird, real kind of different than what we've seen.
Twisty turny.
Yeah, twisty turny. To go to what seems to be just a way more straightforward action,
There's like a week in between them, correct?
When they release, there's very little time.
WandaVision finishes, there's a week, and then Falcon and Winter Soldier comes out like in March, right?
I think I'm gonna wait to see reception on this before I even check it out. I don't know.
I'm really excited about Raya and the Last Raya,
Yeah, I don't exactly.
It looks so cute. I am excited. Raya, okay. I love dragons, and I'm a fan of animated Disney hits.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be a day one watch in my household for sure. Don't like that it's behind the $30 paywall, but I'll give the Mouse Gang another $30 to rent something.
Sure. Shit, maybe I'm coming over.
Yeah, we'll split it. Let's split it up.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed with how short. I mean, I know it's the Super Bowl; they have to do 30-minute spots or whatever, or pay an insane amount of money. But it was just so quick. I want to know what the heck that is about. Apparently, there's a Last Dragon.
It was different than the preview I've seen in theaters. It added a little bit more.
I think this was the third trailer. I want to say this was where they revealed the dragon. Aquafina is the voice of the dragon. I like her a lot. She's awesome.
I didn't even realize.
I didn't realize that, so that makes me even more excited.
Yeah. It looks really cool.
Yeah, great. What about any interest in Clarice at all? It seems like a weird decision to make a Silence of the Lambs. I think it's set between like the first and second movie, I think.
Oh, between Silence and Hannibal?
I think so. And apparently they don't have the rights to Hannibal, so he is not going to be a thing.
They can't even reference the most interesting character in that whole thing. Or
Yeah.
I don't think they can reference Buffalo Bill as either or anything like that.
Oh wow, I didn't realize that. That's tough sledding. That's a weird.
Like, initially, if you just tell me, oh, we're gonna make a Clarice TV series, like, I might be interested in that. But then after we seen the commercial, I was not interested.
Yeah, it's really just her reciting, like her whole trauma that she, like, about the lambs that she recites to Anthony Hopkins, and it didn't do anything for me.
We should probably end the trailer discussion on, the most important one.
Family.
Family. F9. F9. What? I don't know what happened with... So, like, at one point there's just, like, a car, and then it goes sideways? It's got, like... It's got nitrous on the side?
Like, a quarter mile at a time. Used to.
God, was that a line in that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
It's nice to see Vin Diesel, though. He's behind so many of my beloved characters. And,
Really?
forget what he looks like.
Oh, true.
It's just interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, Vin keeps trying. Those movies keep making money, right? I mean, and I think it's not even going to be the last one. Like, I think they're making 10 of them. I think that's the idea.
It prints money, man. Yeah, it's... Cena's in this one now. They're brothers. Oh my gosh.
Oh god, is that the thing? They're brothers?
Did you watch the trailer?
I mean, I saw it. I don't know that I watched it.
Yeah, they're like, this guy, he's like a Marine killing machine, master thief, NASCAR driver or something, like, it's like the Terminator within the Fast and Furious franchise. Oh, and he's also Dom's brother. Dun, 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 I've seen Too Fast, Too Furious. That is the only one I've seen.
Probably the best one.
I think people consider that the worst one.
Oh no.
That's the one with Paul Walker and Tyrese. Yeah. So my knowledge on this franchise is low. It's one of those things. I imagine, like, a non-fan of the MCU staring outside of that and, like, just not getting it. That's how I feel about this franchise. I don't get why it's so popular, but people dig it, man. People really buy into these characters and whatever weird hijinks they get into in these movies.
Yeah, I mean, some people like family and some people are you. So
hey man.
Oh boy. So
family.
Let's get off of the F9 train and get on to the WandaVision train. We mentioned it enough here. We did not get to hear from you in episode 2. We got to hear from Tomas and Aaron, but what are you thinking? Do you like the direction that it's going? Favorite episode so far? What are you thinking about WandaVision?
I enjoy it a lot so far. This was the 5th episode, the previous one.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite one. I won't spoil anything, but there's just the moment that everyone talks about in the season 2 of Mandalorian. This part was even bigger than that. For me personally, I'm sure a lot of people won't feel that way, but I enjoyed it a lot. I
it
just
was really
laughed
cute.
out loud. Yeah, like yelped.
Yeah, I think I said, oh shit. Yeah. Like just a couple times.
Yeah, it's really cool. I follow the theories online and stuff, and it seems like people may have cracked the code on what's happening, and if people are right, then I think it's going in a cool direction, and I'm excited about it.
How about you, Kayla?
Well, we've heard from me. I love it.
Right, but episode 5 specifically, at the moment,
It has definitely shifted gears, like Mike had said already in this episode. 1 and 2 are in a certain kind of direction, in a certain speed, and then 3 has a little bit of mixture of both, but 4 is it's like the whole other side of the park, back to reality. Interested to see. How about you, honey?
Yeah, I'm all for it. I did find the first couple episodes kind of slow. I was after those first two, I was like, oh boy, this is. I thought it was funny. I liked to see, what Vision was doing, especially he's finally getting to kind of be on screen, and Wanda for that matter too.
Oh, that is so good. Yeah.
There's such sitcom hijinks too. Like it was fun to see that stuff.
Yeah, and then it's just kind of in the last couple episodes just shifted. I mean, tone and shifted kind of everything. But I'm here for it. I think I would have, if it kept going pretty slow like the first couple episodes, that maybe would have worn me down. But I'm super excited. So we got 3 more.
That's it?
Yeah, I think it's 8. I think it's 8 episodes. Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah, that's definitely gonna be a sad part for me.
I think this is gonna be like an 8 one and done kind of thing.
I do too. Absolutely.
So
yeah, I'm interested to see how they wrap it up. I mean, they're really ratcheting up the stakes, I think, especially in this last 2 episodes. Kind of who's the villain, how are the heroes going to get out of it? Like,
I think the show is going to be kind of a big cornerstone of what's going forward. It's tough to talk about it, to dance around certain things. I'm really excited when we can just talk about spoilers and everything.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I think it's going to wind up being, when it's all said and done, it's going to be a big deal.
The 80s is up next, right? That's what on Friday when the new episode comes out.
Yeah, this was just the 80s. So it should be the 90s if there's
You're right.
If they're going to try to do that.
That Growing Pains opening on the last episode was so good. And I love the sets. I love how there've been like a mixture. Like this last one reminded me of like the Family Ties house mixed with the Growing Pains house. And that's an era of sitcom that I have like the most nostalgia for. And it was cool to see.
What do you think they'll use for the 90s? What will be their main opening one?
I've seen a lot of people wanting like a Fresh Prince.
Oh, that would be fun. It would be fun.
I think it's going to be Friends. I think they're going to do like I'll be there. That kind of opening. I think it's going to be like that.
I know 210 would work too.
I got a Full House feeling.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, I think they put a bit of Full House in this last one with like those wide shots of them like having a picnic.
Yeah, that's what made me like think of it, but I don't know what Growing Pains even is, so I didn't catch it.
Ooh, early Leo on that show. But,
oh, interesting. That might make me bite.
Yeah, the little baby Vision in the opening shots was a lot of fun. It's great. Yeah. It's like a baby picture of Vision. It's so good.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, seeing as this is kind of a little bit of a wrap up of episode 2, I did want to have the final discussion on the medium. We touched on it quite a bit in episode 2, but we did get to finish it. Me and Kayla finished that one, and I want to say overall, I want to recommend it to people. It's sitting in like the 7 range on like Metacritic. It's got a 7.5 audience score, and then I think, what did I find it 71 on Metacritic, their Metascore, that kind of thing, if that thing matters to you. But I feel like that's exactly what it is. I think it's a solid, on a 10-point scale, it's a solid 7. There's some things, there's nothing about it to hate, I would say. It definitely does the environment. It's creepy. A couple disappointing things for me. I was really hoping that it would kind of amp up the scares. There was one jump scare early on in the game, and at least for me, that was it. That was the only. I was like, oh, whoa, jump scare kind of thing. The rest was more just like a feeling of unease, that type of thing. Throughout, the environments were definitely not a place you want to be in. Kind of scary and creepy, but nothing. Because of the lack of combat, because of the lack of like resources, it wasn't a survival horror game. You didn't have that tension. And for the vast majority of the game, it's just your player character kind of alone for that matter, and doing a lot of monologuing too. That's a major thing. But I have to say, for the story, started off immensely slow. Didn't really know what was going on, but it got really deep. What did you think, Kayla?
I think that the whole thing is in a slow pace. The whole thing. I didn't think the beginning was that slow. I mean, you start off pretty much right away questioning what's going on, which continues throughout the whole thing. There's lots of her mentioning things or seeing things that you don't have the answers to, and basically the whole game is you finding those answers, and it really is a nice, touching, beautiful story all around, with some dark, haunting moments, of course, but it's a video game story. Like Eric said, there's not a lot of combat. It is definitely freaky and creepy, and you just kind of want to get in and out of there as fast as you can. But those moments aren't very huge in the gameplay itself. It happens, but it's not like always happening.
Yeah, I would say the one thing that I was most surprised with, I thought it was going to be a smaller story, just a more like personal story, and there are a lot of personal moments and everything else. But and this will be slight spoilers. I'm not going to go into major spoilers, but it goes places. There's a kind of a Nazi subplot. There's a let's say like sexual violence subplot. There's just a lot of thing. It seems like the entire thing is maybe an allegory for depression, regressing memories, things of that nature. There's a lot of that.
Deeper than I expected. I expected, kind of a survival horror game, and that is not what it is.
Yeah, and I guess it takes some of that from like the first couple Silent Hills to those kind of, once you really dig into them, they got into the psychological nature of the player character and things of that nature.
You had mentioned Silent Hill previously in the episode that we recorded, but I don't think that it really did take on too many tropes of other things. I think it is its own thing. It doesn't feel like it's trying to reach out and copy Silent Hill or Resident Evil or any other game that I've never heard of.
Yeah, I would have to actually agree with that. It felt like it early on, but then once not only the story unfolded and then the gameplay really unfolded, it didn't have much to do with either of those series. Definitely not Resident Evil, because no combat, no resources, and then Silent Hill, just on the very surface. I guess there's you just got to kind of make those connections, but different enough. It wasn't because Silent Hill has the mechanic of going from one world to another world. In this game, you're kind of in both at all times, or at least for quite a bit of the game. So that's kind of where they do diverge. Yeah.
Does this game kind of remind you of like a David Cage like experience, like a what was that last one, the robot one? It's escaping me.
Detroit Become Human.
Detroit Become Human. Yeah. Is it kind of like that?
I enjoyed that game a lot.
I would say that's probably the best analogy to say. I think that there's even the dialogue isn't great. I mean, David Cage dialogue can be really cringy, and this wasn't. But just some of the monologuing and stuff like that, I feel like it took some cues from like a Detroit or a Beyond Two Souls or something like that. That's a good comp, especially with the lack of like combat and that kind of thing.
Yeah, this the game before this was that Blair Witch game a few years back, and that seemed to be like a 5 or a 6. People weren't really hot on that, and this, like you said, seems to be in that 7 range. So maybe I'm excited. Maybe their next project they could go over the top and bring something like a closer to a AAA experience.
Yeah, and it's actually, I mean, they kind of built out a world in this game. So I could even see, I don't want to say a sequel necessarily, but if they wanted to, they could, I like it. Yeah, the large. I could see a sequel or something maybe set in the same world or something. It definitely, not only the ending, I guess, was a little ambiguous, I would say, and also just they built out there's still some questions that they could answer, I suppose. But yeah, I think my overall thing is I'd recommend it. What would you say, Kayla?
I would recommend it. I think that it's something. It's not very long, so it's something that everybody should play.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's not long, and because it's not overly scary, I think someone who is averse to playing horror games, I don't think this is that. And even if someone's not very good at actiony games, that kind of thing, combat, it's you don't have a ton of that either. It's a lot of solving simple puzzles and things of that nature. So yeah, I think you could hit with a wide range of people.
And it's on Game Pass, right? So if you have that, why not?
Yep.
Yeah, and it looks really nice. Played it on the Series X, and it's a good looking game too. Not really, doesn't blow you away, but just consistently good looking game.
Cool.
Now to the moment we've all been waiting for. Teased it in episode 2. We really wanted to discuss The Little Things. We all watched it on HBO Max. It's also currently in theaters. But Mike wasn't able to join us in episode 2, so we really wanted to hold that discussion till today. So Mike, tell everyone a little bit about The Little Things.
The Little Things is a crime thriller, right, you'd say?
Yeah.
That's what I'd say.
Starring Denzel Washington, Rami Malek, and Jared Leto, and it was just a good movie, man. I thought I really enjoyed it. Finding it's directed by a guy, John Lee Hancock, I believe is his name. And as I was watching this movie, I had a good, I felt like I'm like, oh man, this is kind of like Seven, and it was written around that same time as Seven, and it's Denzel Washington plays a deputy in like some podunk Northern California or Southern California county or something, and his commanding officer or whatever tells him, we need you to pick up some evidence down in LA, and he's adverse to this. He does not want to go back there, and he gets mixed up in this big investigation at one point, and it goes from there. That's where the Seven comparison starts, when him and Rami Malek are in the movie together.
Yeah. Rami's an up and coming detective. You learn that fairly.
Yeah, hotshot.
Yeah, definitely. You learn that kind of fairly early on. They butt heads at several points early on. I thought for three Oscar winners in this one, all three the main leads.
Yeah.
What did you think of? This is actually the first movie. Actually, I think the first thing I've ever seen Rami in. What did you think about him, Nelson?
I'm selling my Rami stock. He is the worst part of this movie.
Okay.
He won an Oscar for Bohemian Rhapsody, which is a travesty that someone won for that, and it really seemed like he just, whatever headspace he was in that movie, this performance reminded me a lot of his performance in that. Like he's got like the same tone of voice, and it just does not match what Denzel's putting out there at all. Jared Leto and Denzel are really the two shining stars in this for me.
Yeah, I tend to agree. What about you, Kayla?
I think that Rami Malek and Jared Leto both have such intense faces a lot in this, and for Rami Malek, not being your favorite part, I think he did that well. I think he makes you very uncomfortable a lot of times, and definitely Jared Leto makes me uncomfortable and creeped out. He does that very well. I think Denzel, of course, is always a great performer and somebody that you just can watch do stuff. I think he was, without having such an intense look like the other two do, he definitely had that feeling still when he was in certain situations where he had to be intense. You could tell, even though he's like just calm, cool, and collected in the face.
I almost feel in regards to Rami, that he was like, it almost seems like they're trying to go for a subplot where he can be involved in, I don't know if we mentioned, but it's a serial killing movie. I mean, they're all kind of investigating serial killings. And Rami Malek's like the head detective on the case, and it almost felt like at points like he was creepy. Like Kayla, I think, used the term, like he had some like creepy facial expressions, creepy voice. You almost felt like, man, did this dude do it? Like, did you get that kind of feeling, Nelson?
From Leto's character?
From Rami Malek.
Oh, gotcha. No, I don't know what he was trying to pull off, really. It's almost like he's in a different movie at times, and I think Denzel's able to carry him throughout the thing.
I think sometimes I got that feeling from Denzel. There were definitely, I was like, I saw a black hat on his desk. I saw it. Is it him? I was trying to find the little things. For me, yeah. I didn't love this movie. I thought the performances were all great, but I think it missed it for me. I'm not questioning things. I felt like they didn't give me enough to even question.
Yeah, we can. What's up, Nelson?
Quite a question. Just like the taste it left in your mouth or something, or
just throughout the whole movie. Like, you know, it's a suspense thriller mystery. You're supposed to be trying to figure out who did it with them, and you think it's Jared Leto at points. I thought it was Denzel Washington at points. I didn't ever really feel like it was Rami Malek, but I guess now that you say that, I can see like why would he be like so interested in talking to Denzel? Because he learns that Denzel, like, this is a serial killing, and Denzel worked on it originally, and like, you know, got a divorce and wouldn't let it go, and wrecked his job and had a heart attack and got booted from it, and they shipped him off basically.
Sure.
So sometimes you think that now that Rami Malek might have been trying to cover his tracks or find out what Denzel was looking at. I just felt like they didn't give me enough little things to look at and question to find out who did it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess maybe we should maybe break at this point and really dive into it, we think?
Yeah.
Or...
Let's do the let's say right now, if anyone wants to see this movie and doesn't want it spoiled, let's say stop the podcast now, move it ahead a little bit, and get to our wrap up, because we're going to go into spoiler territory.
Spoiler warning.
All right, Nelson, start us off with spoilers.
Well, I think I felt the opposite of Kayla. I think that ending was good. It was very satisfying for me to like not know, like to just have it, like, because I even like, so Jared Leto becomes the main suspect for these murders, and Denzel Washington thinks, hey, this might be the guy that fucked up my, the case that I couldn't solve, what is it, five years prior to that, and it winds up like it wasn't Jared Leto. It wasn't him, and
but we don't really know that, truthfully.
Oh, I think we do.
You do?
It seems to be like, yeah, there's the chances of it being him just seems like almost
burned all of his stuff.
There was nothing. There wasn't
no
Denzel,
red beret, but that it didn't. We don't know what was in those bags.
Obviously, it wasn't substantial evidence at all. I think if that was the case,
it's not like he could go turn himself in because Rami Malek killed him.
I guess that's true. I didn't think of that.
They're covering up their murder.
You can't, like, again, even if it was Jared Leto, you can't do anything about it.
Right. And the only thing you would do is get yourself in trouble.
My take was that because Jared Leto, who I really enjoy in this movie, is playing like this weirdo, I'd say like Jim Carrey from Cable Guy, like imitation, maybe like Me, Myself, and Irene kind of tone to his voice. It's strange and weird, and he's like he calls himself a crime buff, and he knows everything that's happening in this crime. It turns out that he has like a police transmitter or something, big old huge CB radio looking thing in his apartment that he's been listening to everything the cops been saying about this whole case. And we found out that he has Denzel breaks into his apartment, and he has like a secret compartment in there that's full of like these what appear to be trinkets
newspaper
or something,
cuttings.
right, from killings and stuff like that. And for me, it does seem like he's just a fucking weirdo that is obsessed with murder and serial killers and things, and tries to pretend to be one.
Did they ever? So at one point, there's the chase on the highway and everything, and one of the mile markers is a big part of that, and somehow Jared Leto knew what mile marker like one of the killings was, something that he shouldn't have known. Was that ever? I think both of us, we didn't really get that plot point. Like how did he know that?
I think it's brought up that none of that has ever been brought up to the press. It's only been talked about like over police transmissions.
Amongst the police officers.
That's how he's been able to pick up on that kind of stuff.
Okay, because he had the police radio or whatever, or the scanner.
Yeah, well, I don't think it was Jared Leto, because in the very beginning, when they show a girl being chased by what we are assuming is the serial killer, she gets out on foot, and you see him walking normally, whereas Jared Leto has quite a limp.
Oh, okay. I didn't notice that either.
Yeah, Jared Leto actually was nominated for a Golden Globe for this one, so
yeah, there's an uproar about that. I dug it, man. There's only really one scene where he gets to be around Denzel. Really? Well, two scenes, and this is a scene where all three of them together, and Leto's just chewing it up, man. He's like being interrogated by these two. He walks in and where's Big Dick Tracy?
I liked him a lot.
Yeah, and he knows that he's like not even a step ahead of him. He's no steps ahead of them. He doesn't need to, like, he just knows that he's wasting their time, and he loves it. And I thought it was cool. Yeah,
it's kind of the Jared Leto Joker we deserved, right? Like, he's got no plan. Yeah. He's just chaos, He's just...
Right. Yeah. That Joker performance did not work for me, and this did. It was the right kind of weird.
Yeah, I think
less tattoos on the face.
Yeah, I like Jared Leto the best, I think, out of the three. And then Denzel, I think he played old really well. I thought he just seemed like a run-down dude, like, and that's his backstory, that he's been, kicked to this podunk town and had a heart attack and all this and stuff. And like, yeah, I saw it. I saw it, definitely.
Yeah, we find out.
I definitely did.
Why? Go ahead, Kayla, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, I definitely did not see the original reason why Denzel Washington's character did get kind of shipped out of town, and why the people or the captain was not thrilled to have him back.
Yeah, I think they did a good job of like the foreboding aspect of all of that, and then when you figure everything out, I mean the moment you figure out, like, yeah, why he was kicked off, that he accidentally murdered someone, a victim of this serial killer who was getting away, it looked like, and accidentally shot this victim. I didn't see that coming.
And he has to think about, like, man, if this person could have been this witness, whatever, could have been the way we caught this guy,
right?
And I think Denzel does a great job. There's a scene where he's staying like in this little crappy hotel room, and he's just staring at the wall. He's got like these weird like pictures of all like the previous victims hanging up, and all of a sudden he sees like a young naked woman appear at the foot of his bed, and she looks all disheveled, and he doesn't even blink at it. He's just like he just knows that this thing is going to pop up and be there, and then he just takes a quick glance at the closet, and there's 2 other dead bodies of girls staring at him, and it's like, oh man, you've had to live with this for so long, and you but he doesn't. He's the complete opposite to Rami, who's like completely falling apart with trying to save these people, and Denzel knows, like, and he tells him, you can't be an angel, you can't and expect to save everyone, all these people, and having to really like mentor him to deal with this, ultimately the same price that he had to pay 5 years ago.
Yeah, that was a nice
when Rami, yeah, like it goes full circle. Like I like when movies use the title well when they can say the title and make it and put it cleverly into the script, where he explains to Rami, like, we have to look at all. It could be that it's the littlest thing that gets this person caught. Then ultimately at the end, Rami, Jared Leto leads him on this wild goose chase to try and find this girl that he says he knows where she's buried, and he's not finding it, and Jared just keeps pecking at him like, oh, maybe I've honestly never killed anyone in my life. If you believe me, we can go. If you don't believe me, well, keep on digging. And he digs hole after hole after hole, and Jared just I think his name's Sparma, his last name in this movie, which is a great name for him. It describes just the way he looks in this movie. He's got this long, greasy hair, and he keeps pecking at him, and eventually brings up Rami's family to him, who he's seen in the newspapers and stuff. And Rami flips out, and it's a very Seven type situation where the protagonist kills our antagonist, our main suspect, and Denzel has to help Rami cover this up. And the little things will get you caught. We have to cover all our tracks, and I'm a sucker for that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I was a big fan, because really cool. It's like he's talking more so about himself the whole time, because he uses the phrase a couple times, where the little things is what'll get you caught, and it's like at that moment it's like, oh, he meant him, he meant himself, like, because now Rami's killed someone, Denzel's killed someone in the past, like, and any little slip up, like,
right, they're kindred spirits now, and they have to bear this cross and just be quiet for the rest of their lives. They can't. It's wild. I like an ending like that. I like an open-ended, like, sure, did he do it? Didn't he do it? I think it's for certain he didn't, and it's just, hopefully the feds, they come in, hopefully they find this guy, type thing.
You should definitely play the medium.
Yeah, a lot of open-ended in that one. I love when a movie has enough, backbone to end tragically, to end ambiguously is whatever, I can take it or leave it, but like a tragic ending, a sad ending where the good guy doesn't necessarily win, I'm into that. So that definitely did it. So then, just to kind of wrap it up, I think you would recommend it, right, Mike?
Yeah, I watched it on HBO Max, but even if the group of us went and saw it at the theater, I would have walked out. If I had spent $13 on this, I would have felt satisfied and
it's a big
good about it. You, Kayla, you would not recommend it?
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's got an audience, I would say. I don't know that I would recommend it to everyone, but for myself, I enjoyed it because it's definitely a movie for me. And I think, like, Aaron, our fellow cast member, I think he would enjoy it. I don't know that, like, Josh, for example, would have been into this one, or, and obviously it's done only wishy-washy with critics and stuff like that. So, but I think it's for me. I don't know if it's for everyone.
Okay. One last thing I want to touch on is there's a scene where Denzel and Rami are on a stakeout, and Denzel's like, okay, I'll be back. I'm going to get us some coffee or whatever. And he goes down to this convenience store. And mind you, this movie takes place in 1990. I'm pretty sure I'm correct on that.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And as Denzel's these two teens, they're playing at a Mortal Kombat arcade cabinet. And we all know that didn't come out till 1992. Hire me to be
I thought it was like 1990.
Consultant. 90. I looked it up. As soon as I saw the scene, I looked up Mortal Kombat arcade release, and I sent it to Eric.
Yeah, you did.
And Hollywood, I will be your consultant for this thing. Movies and TV shows get this kind of stuff wrong all the time. It drives me nuts when they put a game in there and like people are playing 2-player, which is clearly a 1-player game or something like that. It's
You wouldn't allowed Final Fantasy VIII 2-player to be in Charlie's Angels, is what you're saying.
I would no. Those kids would have been playing Puzzle Fighter or something. Darn it.
Oh, I knew we would bring the Little Things talk to Final Fantasy VIII and to Charlie's Angels. I knew
Absolutely.
it. I knew it was going to happen, so I'm happy to be there. But yeah, that was good. I'm glad. I'm glad we could get this moving a little bit back from where we wanted to talk it, because I was real excited to get in deep. I was excited for the movie and enjoyed it for the most part. And enjoyed it even more talking with you. So one thing I did want to discuss before we fully wrap up here was episode 3. We did if you haven't already listened to it, we did a really fun draft of all of the upcoming video game adaptations. We will post the draft results. I don't believe we have yet, but we're going to get those out there. But you already know the results because you've already listened. But what we're going to do for episode 5, which will be hitting next Monday, we're going to, kind of follow up to that. And what we're going to do is pick some games that we thought, or some video game adaptations that we thought were probably pretty bad, but how we would make them better. So expect to hear maybe some deep Duke Nukem talk. Maybe some Space Invaders. We'll see what gets chosen, but should be really fun. So all the cast members are going to pick a game, and they're going to say how they could improve the video game adaptation that is going to come out. So that'll be episode 5. That'll be hitting Monday. Episode 3 hit on last Monday, so if you haven't listened, feel free to listen to that, because that'll be a nice primer for episode 5. This episode, if you're already listening to it, it hit on Friday the 12th. Speaking of Friday the 12th, Judas and the Black Messiah comes out Friday the 12th to HBO Max and in theaters. And super excited. Do plan to do a deep dive into that movie as well, potentially for episode 6. We'll see where it all falls. But, it's Black History Month, and... Yeah, we really want to, give that movie a platform, give Black History Month a platform, and it's already the early reviews. I was checking Rotten Tomatoes this morning. Yeah. They're calling it the movie of the year and that kind of thing already. So
it looks really good. I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, so that's Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield, both from Get Out. If you're familiar with that movie, and follows some internal FBI, I think, and Black Panther in the 70s, I think. But we'll see. That's gonna be a lot of fun, I think. Fun, I don't know. We'll see.
Something that will be fun Friday is Mario 3D World for Switch comes out that day, and I'm gonna be playing a whole lot of that this weekend, so I'll be able to touch on that too.
I believe it's gotten some pretty good reviews as well.
Oh yeah. Game Informer gave it a 9.25. Today I saw IGN a 7, which I was very shocked by that. But
did you read the review at all, or just the number?
I dove into it a little bit. It seemed like he was just, because he thought 3D World doesn't really stand up to the other, like to a Mario Galaxy or something like that. And I think the little bonus game that's attached called Bowser's Fury, it seemed like maybe that wasn't enough to really, blow his socks off.
Nice.
I can't wait. I'm excited.
Yeah, we'll expect a nice thorough review from you in a upcoming pod.
Sure.
All right, cool. So before we actually wrap up and say goodbye, we did want to shout out to one of our top fans who wants to do it. Yeah, I think it's our biggest fan at this point.
Oh yeah, the wonderful Katie Berry. Hello. She engages in all our social media stuff. She's been great so far. She's a big supporter, and just want to shout her out. Hello.
I think we should have Katie on one of these days.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I agree.
Katie likes movies and loves talking about them.
I would like her specifically to discuss the scene in Charlie's Angels where those kids play Final Fantasy VIII co-op.
Yeah. I think Katie is a huge musical fan. We should do a musical themed pod.
I agree.
Just go blow out.
If anyone else wants a shout out, feel free to ask on our social media, or we also, if you go to anchor.fm/machine of nonsense, there's actually a place where you can leave a voice message for us, so we can put your voice into this pod. I can do that. I will do that. So go ahead and go to our website and leave a voice message.
Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Like us.
Yeah, subscribe to the pod if you already haven't. Tell other people, please, to subscribe. And if you could leave a rating on your podcast app, especially if you do it through Apple Music or Spotify, it goes a long way towards other people finding the pod. And please, tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Want to say goodbye, Mike?
Oh, ta-ta. This was fun. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, it was exciting having you on for our first smaller cast.
Yeah, tripod.
Yeah, this is great.
All right, so everyone out there listening, we enjoyed talking at you, and have a good one.
Good night.
See you guys.
Bye.